Hello, good morning dear students. Today is our first video related to the topic partnership basic fundamental. In part first, chapter first, partnership basic fundamental. Before going to this chapter, we just need to recap about the types of business. Here the concept is types of business. A business can be divided in two parts. First, on the basis of activities, and second, on the basis of ownership. On the basis of activities, a business can be divided in three parts: trading business, manufacturing business, and service industry or business. On the basis of ownership, a business can be divided in total 5 parts. These are: first, sole proprietorship; second, partnership; third, company; fourth, cooperative society; and fifth, HUF, Hindu Undivided Family Business. What these are? The on the base of activities. Any one businessman, if a person want to business, he must have to select one business out of these three, because in the world there is no business other than these three business. He may be operate trading business, he may be operate manufacturing business, or he may be operate service business. What is the trading business, what is the manufacturing business, and what is the service industry or service business, we will discuss here one by one. So first business is on the basis of activity, that is the trading business. In a trading business, a businessman purchase finished goods from wholesaler or direct company. In a trading business, a businessman purchases finished goods from a wholesaler or direct from company, and after adding his or her profit, sell back it to the customers. That is called the trading business. As you shown in the all the shopkeepers in the market, suppose you want to purchase a mobile from a shop. The shopkeeper who does not produce the goods, he purchase finished goods from the company or from the wholesaler, and after adding his her profit, sell back it to the customer. That is called the trading business. In the market, all shippers operate trading business. I hope you understood trading business. The second is a manufacturing business. In a manufacturing business, a businessman produces goods, and after producing, he added his her profit and sell back to the wholesaler and agencies. Point to be noted: in manufacturing business, businessman produce goods from raw material, and after producing goods, this goods sell back to the customer after adding his her profit. That is called the manufacturing business. For example, LG Limited, Samsung Limited, these are the companies that own self produces goods. Samsung company produces Samsung mobiles, Samsung laptops, Samsung TVs, Samsung computers, Samsung laptops, and so many more. That is a manufacturing industry. In a manufacturing industry, a businessman produces goods by using various resources and raw material, and after adding his profit, this produced goods is sold to the wholesalers and retailers. I hope you understood the manufacturing business. And the last business, that is the service business. In a service business, there is no kind of goods. There is no kind of goods available with the businessman. A businessman does not sell any kind of goods. He provided or rendering the services to the customers directly. For example, a school provided education services to the students. A hospital, a doctor provides medical facilities to the patients, and so many insurance company provided insurance services to secure the uncertainties like this. These bank provided the fund transfer facilities for fund reserve facilities like this. These all are the service industries. I hope you understood. A businessman can have operate a business out of all these three, because there is no other business other than these three. He may be operate trading business, he may be operate manufacturing business, and he may be service industries. I hope you understood what is the type of business on the basis of activities. Now we will discuss about the concept on the basis of ownership. Ownership, there are 5 types business: sole proprietorship, partnership, company, cooperative society, and HUF. The first, sole proprietorship. As you have discussed, as you have studied in class 11th, what is a sole proprietorship? In a sole proprietorship, the complete control and investment of a single man. The owner is a single man. Whatever profit and whatever loss incurs in the business, he is only liable to get the profit and incur the losses here. In such situation, there is only a single person. He controls and operates the business activities, and whatever profit and loss incurred in the firm, he will be liable to get and to pay the liabilities. I hope you understood sole proprietorship. In this business, the owner is only one person. The second is partnership. Why need the partnership? When, as you know, there are many limitations in sole proprietorship vision. Only one person's capital and the managerial capacity, risk taking capacity, limited capital, limited managerial ability. These all are the many liabilities or limitations of sole proprietorship. To resolve these limitations, partnership form of business created. Partnership. In the partnership, 2 or more persons are agreed to share profit and losses. 2 or more persons are agreed to share the profit of business which is carried on by all or any of them acting for all. This topic we have studied in class 11th, and partnership and company. These 2 topics we will discuss in class 12th. Cooperative society and HU have not in our syllabus. So we don't need to discuss about this. Here we will discuss one by one topic, partnership and company. About the company we will discuss whenever we will discuss about the part 2nd, company's accounts. Now we will discuss about the partnership and partnership account. I hope you understood the basic types of a partnership, a basic type of business. So here, now we will discuss here partnership, because now we are discussing the fundamental of a partnership. The first concept is meaning of a partnership. Meaning of partnership. What is partnership? Listen here. When 2 or more persons, 1 and 2 and more, when 2 or more persons are agreed to share profit of a business organization. Here A, B and C. These are 3 persons. All are agreed to share a business. This is a business and all they operate business activities, and whatever profit earned by the firm will be shared in among the partners. So here the meaning of partnership, when 2 or more persons are agreed to share profit of a business organization which is carried on by all or any of them acting for all. That is called partnership. Is it clear? This is the simple meaning. Second, definition of partnership. Definition of partnership. There are one difference between meaning and definition. There are one difference between meaning and definition. Meaning can be right in own words, what we have understood by the particular concept. That is meaning. Meaning can be written in our words. We can write in our word what we have understood by the particular term. But definition have to write in the same author's word. We cannot change any kind of the word in the definition. We have to write in the same words whatever is given in the book as per the author. So here one definition is given in your book, that is according to section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932. So first question, which section define the partnership? So your answer will be section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932. The first question, which section defines the definition of partnership? So your answer will be according to section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932. What is the definition? So here definition always closed in inverted commas. Point to be noted. Partnership is a relationship. Partnership is a relationship among the partners, among the persons who have agreed to share profit of business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. That is the complete definition as per section 4. Listen one by one. The most important point, you have to learn in the same word. If it is asking in your exam, you must have to write in the same words whatever written by the author. According to section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932, partnership is a relationship among the persons. The point, relation, persons who have agreed to share profit of business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. This is the complete definition. You have to write in the same word if definition is asking in your exam. Is it clear? Now we will discuss most important point here. One important, A, B and C. These are three partners in a firm. Collectively these partner called firm, who are A, B and C. If we called collectively A, B and C, these are called the firm. If these all are individually called. Who is A? A is a partner. Who is B? B is also a partner. Who is C? C is also a partner. But if we combine all three partners, all the partner of a firm, it is called the firm. And the name by which they operate his or her business, that is called the firm name. Suppose A, B, C all have a business, that is the business, like Fashion Mart. Is it clear? Here A individually called partner, B individually called partner and C individually called partner. But we These all three collectively called firm, and the name by which they operate their business, that is called the firm's name. And here the name of firm is the Fashion Mart. I hope you understood the basic point of a partnership meaning and definition. Now we will discuss some important and most important concept relating to the partnership that is given in the definition. Point to be noted, these are also known as features of a partnership. The next concept is features of partnership firm. Features, characteristics, elements of the partnership. The point number 1. These are the point. Partnership is a relationship between persons. Persons means minimum 2 or more than 100. So here the first point, 2 or more persons. The first point is persons. Persons means persons cannot be a single. Persons may be 2 or more than 2. So here 2 or more persons. Is it clear? 2 or more persons. In a partnership firm, there must be at least 2 persons to form a partnership business. To form a partnership. Minimum 2. So your answer in a question may be asked in your exam, what is the minimum number of partner in a firm? So your answer will be 2. Is it clear? What the maximum number of partner in a firm? That will be up to 50. That will be up to. The maximum number of partner in a firm may be up to 50. If the partners more than 50 in a firm, the firm must be illegal. The firm must be declared illegal. Is it clear? So here 2 questions. What's the minimum number of partner? Your answer will be 2. And what's the maximum number of partners in a firm? Your answer will be 50. If a partner in a partnership firm, the partners more than 50, then partnership firm must be declared illegal. The next point in the same, the next question in the same point. Who decide the maximum number of partners? So point to be noted here. The maximum number of partners decided by Indian Companies Act 2013. Point to be noted. The maximum number of partners in a firm is decided by Indian Companies Act 2013, not by the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Here, who decides the maximum number of partner in a firm? So your answer will be Indian Companies Act 2013. If Indian Partnership Act 1932, you will be right in your exam, that answer will be wrong. So your correct answer will be Indian Companies Act 2013. Okay, Indian Companies Act 2030 restrict the maximum number of a partner up to 50. Is it clear? So first point we have discussed. The second feature is here. The second feature, agreed. How the persons may be agreed? That is only one option, by an agreement. So the second point will be agreement. Agreement. How the agreement create among the persons? Listen here. One person A and another person B. A proposes to B, will you be my partner in a business? In such situation, B can accept or reject the proposal of A. In such situation, B have two rights. He can reject the proposal of A and he can accept the proposal of A. In both the condition, he will provide his acceptance, whether no or whether yes. That is called A propose to B and B accept the proposal of A. That is called promise. That is called promise. So here proposal plus acceptance equal to promise. Equal to promise. But if consideration is added in promise, that will be an agreement. That will be an agreement. What's the consideration? B will ask to A, if I will be your partner, what I will get from you. So A will provide profit, share in profit. That is called the consideration. If proposal plus acceptance plus consideration, all these three words together, that is called an agreement. Without an agreement, partnership cannot be happen. I'm just sharing an example with you to understand this concept properly. Listen. A has three sons, B, C and D. Mr. A is a businessman. He has three sons, B, C and D. A died in a car accident. A died in a car accident, and after the death of A, his business is operated by all the three sons, B, C and D, and the profit and losses of the business are shared equally. Can you say B, C and D are partner? Your answer will be no, because B, C and D, all the three sons has not an agreement. They have perpetual succession right here. They have perpetual succession right here. They don't have any kind of agreement. Partnership can be formed by a legal agreement. Here among the part B, C and D, they all are not the partner because they don't have any kind of agreement. They don't propose to each other. They don't accepted any kind of the proposal, and they don't have any kind of the consideration among the sons. So here B, C and D cannot be called the partner. They all are the brother, and they are sharing profit and losses of Mr. A due to perpetual succession right or essential right. Is it clear? This is the second point. The third feature, business and profit motive. What if a person wanted to be a legal partnership firm? In such situation, there must be a business, and the main motive of the business must be earning profit. Listen here, I'm telling some examples to understand clearly. A, B and C. A, B and C all decided to operate a guest house. A guest house. Can you say A, B and C are partner? Your answer will be no. Why A, B and C are not the partner here? Because the business, there is no profit motive business. Because guest house is not a business. Guest house is operated to social welfare, to provide the social services at a reasonable price. Is it clear? That's why A, B and C are not the partner, because they don't have a business and the motive of a profit earning of the business. That's why these all are not termed as a partner. But if all these three persons, A, B and C, operate a hotel business, operate a hotel, as you know, a hotel is operated with the profit motive, so they are all the partner. A, B and C, all three persons are called as a partner, because here there is a business and the main motive of business, main motive to operate hotel business is earning profit. In such situation we can say A, B and C all are the partner. I hope you understood. If they operating any kind of charitable activities, any kind of a charitable activities, they cannot be partner. But they operate any kind of a profitable business, which the main motive is to earn profit. In such condition, they all will be partner. In such situation, if they operate hotel business, they have business and the profit motive also. That's why A, B and C all are three partners. But they operating any kind of charitable activities like a library, like a guest house, like this, where there is no main target to earn the profit. In such situation, they will not be called partner. I hope you understood. Another example here. Listen. A, B and C, all three purchased a piece of land for rupees 10 lakh. A, B and C, all three persons by together purchase a piece of land for rupees 10 lakh. Can you say A, B and C are partner? Your answer will be no, because piece of land, they purchased a piece of land. In such condition, all these three persons called the joint owner of a property, not the partner, because purchasing and selling of land is not their business, because purchasing and selling of a piece of land is not their business. If purchasing and selling of land is their business, in such condition we can say A, B and C all are the partner. I hope you understood. But in such condition, they all are only the joint owner of a property, because purchasing and selling of land piece is not their business. But if they operating purchasing and selling of land piece as a business, it will, these all three persons will be termed as a partner. This is the third condition, third feature. The next, fourth, sharing of profit. Sharing of profit. Point to be noted, the most important here. If a person wanted to be a partner in a firm, if a person want to be a partner in a firm, he or she must have to share profit of the business. He or she must have to share in profit of the business. If any partner who does not share the profit of the firm will not be treated as a partner. Point to be noted. If any single person who does not participate, who does not share the profit of firm, in such situation, the particular person who does not share the profit of the firm will never be treated as a partner. So, profit sharing is the most important feature. Okay, here example, A, B and C, these all are three partner, but B does not share and participate in the business of profit of the business. A, B and C. These all are three persons. These all three are the partner, but B does not share firm's profit. In such situation, B can never be called partner, because sharing of profit is essential for every partner of the business. If any single person who does not share profit of the business will never be treated as a partner. In such situation, only there are two partners, A and C. B will not be treated as a partner because he does not share the profit of a business organization. But point to be note, sharing of loss is not compulsory to all the partners, but sharing of losses of the firm is not necessary or compulsory for all the partners. One or more partner may be terminate this right to other partner for sharing of losses. Listen here, A, B and C, these are three partners. These all are three partners, but as per agreement, C decided his condition that I will never be share in losses as per an agreement. In such condition, these all three are the partner, because all three are sharing profits of the business, but C is not sharing loss in case, because that is decided as per an agreement. So in such situation, all these three are the partner. So most point, sharing of profit is most important to all partner to be a active partner, to be a partner. But sharing of losses is not compulsory to all the partner. It can be terminated to other partner. Is it clear? It can be postponed to other partner for sharing of losses. This is the point number 4. Next, point number 5. Point number 5. Relationship between persons as principal and agent. All the partner of the business, they have a relation principal and agent. How? Understand with example. A, B and C, these are three partners in a business. A, B and C, these are three partners in a business. If A make an agreement with third person D, if A make an agreement for business with D, third party, in such situation, A can bind to B for his act and A can bind to C for his act. In such situation, A is an agent, because agent can bound to his for his principal for his act. In such situation, A is agent and B and C are the principal. A can bound to B and to C for his act, because in condition A is an agent and the rest partner treated as a principal. In another way, if B make an agreement with E, if B make an agreement with third person E, in such situation, A can bound to A and B can bound to A and B can bound to C. In such situation, B will be treated as agent, because he can bind to A and A to C, and A or C will be treated as a principal. As the same way, if C make an agreement with F, third person, in such situation C can bind to A, C can bind to A. Here A and B are the principal and C, the person who bound to other person for his act, will be treated as a agent. So there is a relationship of principal and agent among the partners. I hope you understood with this example. A person, because he can bind other persons for his act, and principal, he himself can bound by the other person agent. That's why there is a relationship of principal as well as agent among the partner. And the last point, and the last point, the last sixth feature, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and the last sixth is the business is carried on by all or any of them acting for all. That is the last feature of a partnership. What's the meaning of this point? It means if these are three partners, A, B and C, they all have right to conduct the business activities. These all three persons, A, B and C, these all are the partners. All the partners have a right to conduct the business activities, But due to some reasons, maybe health is not well, or other, someone have not time to conducting the business activities. In such situation, suppose C don't have time to conduct the business activities. In such situation, the business will be operated by A and B. A and B both are the active partner and working in the business organization additional. For this purpose, A and B will get additional remuneration like salary, commission, bonus for as a active partner. But all these three, but A and B will also work for C, because business is carried on by all, either may be carried on by all or any of them acting for one. Here suppose only A is active partner, other partner are deactive partner, they don't have time to operating the business activity. In such an A will get additional remuneration like salary, commission, bonus, but A will work for B, A will work for C, and A work for himself. That is called the acting for all. I hope you understood the concept, features and characteristics of the partnership firm. If anyone is absent out of these six features, point to be noted, in the absence of any one feature out of these six, there will not be treated any kind of the legal partnership. Point to be noted, there is any kind of the absence out of these six points, there will not be any kind of the legal partner. In the absence of any one out of these six, there will not be a legal partnership. I hope you understood meaning and definition and question asking in exam relating to these points, practical as well as theoretical. You can solve these. Later on, the next point. The next point is partnership deed. Partnership deed. Point to be noted here. Partnership deed. What is the partnership deed? When, point to be noted, partnership deed, or as you know, partnership is a result of an agreement. Without an agreement, partnership cannot be legal. Without an agreement, there will not be any kind of a partnership among the persons. So partnership is an result of an agreement. In such situation, all the terms and conditions relating to partnership, all the terms and conditions are related to partnership is written on a bond on a stamp paper. As you seen, stamp paper, 100 rupees. Have you seen? All the terms and conditions are written on a stamp paper. That written document is called as a partnership deed. Point to be noted. All the terms and conditions related to the partnership business are written on a stamp. That written stamp is called a partnership deed. So your definition will be: partnership deed is a written document or acknowledgement containing all terms and conditions relating to the partnership is called partnership deed. Point again: partnership deed is a written document or acknowledgement containing all terms and conditions relating to partner is called the partnership deed. What are the content to be write on the stamp? These are the name and address of the firm, name and address of the partners, capital contributed by the partners, interest on capital will be allowed or not, if so what's the rate, interest on drawing is to be charged or not, if so what will be the rate, if any partner is entitled for salary, commission, bonus or remuneration, so if yes, so how much, these all the point, what will be the profit sharing ratio among the partners, additional capital will be introduced or not, what will be the rule applicable in the admission of a new partner, death of a partner, how the accounts will be maintained. These all are the basic 20 points. These will be written on the stamp paper. These all are the term as content of a partnership deed. Point to be noted: partnership deed either be written or in oral. Partnership deed either be in written or oral, but best course is a written partnership deed, because if any kind of misunderstanding and dispute among the partner, it will help to solve the problem in future. That's why written document is termed as a best course. I hope you understood the partnership deed and what is it. The last important point: rules applicable in the absence of partnership deed. Suppose partners have not created a deed, they don't have a written deed, and other reason, but at present they don't have any kind of partnership deed to solve the problem. In such condition, when partnership deed is not with the partner, in such condition what rule will be applicable? So point number one, profit and losses will share equal. Profit and losses will be shared equally. Profit and losses will be shared equally, not in their capital ratio. Point to be noted: in the absence of partnership deed, profit and losses will be shared equally among the partners, not in their capital ratio. Second point: no one partner is entitled to get interest on capital. Interest on capital will not be allowed to any partner. Point number third: interest on drawing will not be charged for any partner. Interest on drawing will not be charged for any partner. Point number fifth: no one partner is allowed for entitled any kind of salary, commission, bonus and remuneration. Point: no one partner is entitled to get any salary, commission, bonus or remuneration. Next, point number fifth: if a partner gives a loan to the firm, if a partner gives a loan to the firm, in such condition 6% per annum interest will be provided to on loan. In such condition 6% per annum interest will be allowed to the partner. I hope these important 5 points and the 6 point, all partners have right to conduct the business activities, all the partners have right to get a copy of accounts, all the partners have right to check the accounts of the firm. These are the basic. So these 5 important points. Profit will be shared equally. No one partner is entitled for any salary. No one partner is allowed or charge any kind of interest on drawing. No one partner is allowed to any kind of interest on capital. Profit will be shared equally. And the last, if any partner gives loan to the firm, he will entitled to get 6% per annum as interest on loan. I hope you understood this concept properly. Thanks and have a good day.